Coral Reefs by Sophie. Imagine that you are swimming through the turquoise ocean water, surrounded by all sorts of colorful sights and hundreds of species of fish, all with different colors, patterns, and sizes. All the interesting caves of stone, sea urchins, and the cool-shaped plants that have molded to the rocks above, below, and around you. You hope you never leave. You are swimming in an ocean of paradise, taking in the never-ending beauty. Your mom calls out to you, "Sweetie, it's time to go." You reluctantly swim away from the wonderful colors of the ocean. Finally, the time to return has come, but your mom informs you your paradise has been destroyed. Your paradise was a coral reef. Imagine if you can never go swimming in your favorite coral reef again. Well, this is what happens when a coral reef gets destroyed, and many people are just as disappointed as you are. Several thoughts may fill your mind. What will become of the fish? Will the coral reef ever recover? What could have possibly destroyed such a vast, beautiful landscape? Well, this coral reef could have been destroyed in many different ways, which may leave us wondering, what are the effects of destruction of coral reefs? Let's get into the colorful facts about coral reefs. My first question is, what are coral reefs? You may now be wondering, what exactly are coral reefs? Well, coral reefs are made up by tiny animals called polyps. Polyps are very tiny and soft-bodied organisms. Coral reefs start forming when polyps attach to rocks in the ocean. Once the polyps have attached to the rocks, they divide into hundreds of polyp clones. The base of the coral reef structure is made up of calicle. Calicle is a limestone skeleton that is very protective for the corals. The good thing about calicle is that they create colonies by attaching to one another. This makes calicle act as a single organism. Over the course of thousands of years, colonies join with other colonies, forming a full coral reef. This process can take up to 50 million years, and even after that long, corals can still be not 100% formed and still may be forming. Once the coral reef has fully formed, it can now live on its own. Stay tuned, and I will tell you about the treacherous threats to coral reefs. There may be many bad threats to coral reefs, which leads to my second sub-question. What are some of the major threats to coral reefs? Some threats to coral reefs that can cause very bad damage are hurricanes, tourism, climate change, pollution, and dynamite. These things can be very surprisingly harmful to coral reefs. For example, tourism is a big threat, and we are people that may be contributing to this problem. When we go swimming in coral reefs, we may sometimes kick off a coral from the reef, damaging or breaking them without even noticing. Some people may even break off coral on purpose just to bring it home as a memory, not even knowing how valuable the coral is to the ocean. When people do things like this, it slowly deteriorates the reef. As you know, always wear sunscreen at the beach. This may benefit you, but it definitely does not benefit the coral reef. Sunscreen has chemicals in it that are toxic to the fish and corals. Sunscreen also has oils that are just not good for the fish and coral. Furthermore, dynamite is not as big a topic, but is still destroying a small amount of our reefs. Fishermen find corals and dynamite them because they do not know how valuable they are. So, they destroy them so that the fish inside will die and float up to the surface of the water. This way makes it easier to fish because all the fishermen have to do is scoop up the fish from the surface of the water with a net. This is very dangerous for the coral reefs because if they get dynamited, they get destroyed. Climate change can also be a very big threat to coral reefs. When temperatures fall and rise, the corals in coral reefs get bleached. The bleaching of the corals causes the polyps to expel their food source, says National Geographic. If the corals expel their food source, they have no food. If the corals do not have food they need, the coral turns white and eventually dies. Some scientists think that early global warming has to do with the bleaching of corals.